Okay, hello my friend, hopefully that you are doing great. So in the previous lesson, we already discussed about how to create a simple pay objects and what is pay objects, what is the purpose of pay objects. So in this lesson, I want to go one step forward to discuss one more thing. For example, on some pages that you can see something like we just interact with some, we just have some main methods for some specific element. For example, on this page, I just want to input username, input password, and then click on the login button. That's it. And I don't want to use any other thing on this page for those elements. So if we look back at what we have just done here, you see we call the login page and then the username and then send keys. For me, it's still a little, hard to read the code. So I want to make something that's more friendly for when I write the code and then people read the code, it will be more readability in this case. So how can I do it? So for example, I will create three small methods. The first method is publish void input username. Okay. And because I want to input the username, so that means I want to provide a parameter with the name username here. After that, I just simply call username methods, and then I will send the keys at the username here. So that means I just, when I come back to the text here, instead of try to use those methods, what I want to do that I will call login base dot input the username, and then I will provide something like my username here. So when you look at the code, it's more readability. Now I will go and try to create the rest methods here and another one for the login button. So this should be input this password and I will provide the password. In this case, I will call something like password and then send key and password. Okay, and the last things will be the login button, and then I will call that should be clicked on the login button. And in this method, I don't need to provide any parameters. So in this case, I just call something like dot click. Now I go back to my script and then I will try to duplicate two more lines. In this case, I will call login base and then I will input the password. And for example, this is my password. And the last thing, I will call the login base, click on the login button. And in this case, I don't need to provide any parameters. So if you look back here, you can see login base, input username, input password, and then click on the login button. Your test script is now more readability, right? But I just want to discuss more. For example, you want to get the attribute about the background color here on the login button, as you can see on the right side here. So it's the background color, right? So for example, I want to try to get that color to make sure that I have the correct color on the production or not. So what I do, I will do something like string the login button color equal login page dot login button, and then I will get the attribute at the background color, right? Now what I do, I will login button color and then I will print out the value. So just for easier to see, I want to add a prefix at the login button color, right? And then I can print out. So in the case we have some assertions, I mean verification methods, we can compare with the login button color here. So look at this structure, you can see it's very flexible that you can call the main methods to interact on specific element on the base, while you can remain the method that return the web element dash driver instance 5 on the page, and then you can call other APIs from Selenium to interact on that option. For example, in this case, I get the attribute background color, and then I will verify. So if you look at your pay object now, it's in now like double of the code line in your pay object, right? So if you ask me what is the succession, what is the structure that I would suggest you to do, so actually you can do something like this. It doesn't matter. So someone say that, oh, the base object is so long, but you can say that it's a more convenience for you. Let me tell you something. For example, in the real application testing, this username is not always simple like this, but you need to add something more like the weight, and then you try to do some other stuff. So you can do inside this one before returning the web element on the page. And after that, you can call something input username easily. So that means when you want to try to adjust something, you just come here and then try to adjust something. So it is up to you, right? For example, your application here, on this page, you need to get a lot of attribute from this element. So this structure maybe is not suitable for use, because in this case, you don't have any main methods for that element. Instead, you have a lot of methods to get the status value from that element. So in that case, I would suggest you to keep it as simple, something like this. You just return the web element from the page, right? But if your application don't have anything like on the page, you don't have anything else to get other status values. So you may don't need to introduce something like this outside. So in this case, you can try to delete all of this thing. And here, what you do, you will do something like web element, username element equal driver dot file element username selector, and then you can username elements, and then you use the same case APIs here, and then you just same case, because in your page now you just have only one main method here, that's to input the username. So you don't need many lines of code here. So it's up to you and it's up to your application, right? So you need to try to find out which way is suitable for your application and your context. So try to practice yourself again, and see you in the next lesson. We will talk another aspect about pay objects, and bye for now.